Hello, PDHP parents and community, especially my teachers and faculties and principals out there today. We are talking still about our faculty cohesion workshop. And we are at a point that's really interesting. It's something simple, it's something that we do all the time. How do we communicate with one another? And truly, this can come on so many different levels. A lot of times, this is perhaps one of the biggest issues when it comes to some of the parenting workshops, especially as the children are getting older. But it's also for us as adults, how we are communicating with each other. I know that now that we're talking about starting to come out of the pandemic, a lot of first responders have said that in the past, when they've had to work through different catastrophes, Hurricane Katrina, Superstorm Sandy, Flint, they have talked about the use of mindfulness, the use of organization, the use of even our mindsets of they're doing the best they can, okay? So, it even becomes internal. Communication is internal sometimes, that idea of self-talk. And how does it attribute to our relationships? It's not just for kids, it's for adults too. Years ago, our friend Chris Romulo, who did Champ Up throughout a number of our schools with his bullying prevention message and his message of empowering, really sat a couple times and spoke to me about, he and his wife Sarah, we had talked a lot about self-talk and how we don't harness that power enough, how we don't pay attention to it enough, how it can really become this overbearing criticism in our lives. I first learned about self-talk when I was teaching at St. Charles Borromeo in Brooklyn Heights in 5th grade, and it was one of the lessons in our Respect and Protect textbook. And that's how I learned about it. After that, I didn't teach that much of the Respect and Protect because I moved up to our junior high, and we had at the time now the PDHP counselor who came in and started to take over that curriculum. Really such valuable lessons. This one I love. This one I actually sat in on a workshop. I helped facilitate some of it, but most of it was done by Ellen Fitzpatrick. So shout out to Ellen. She was our prevention education specialist at the time, and we were working at St. Francis Xavier in Brooklyn. And we were talking to parents about mental health and changing stigma around it and what mental health really is and what mental health supports really look like. Sometimes it is sitting down and talking to a counselor and having a place to put perspectives, having a place to hear yourself out, having a place to find strategy. We all need that. We all use that every now and then. And I remember she got to her communication piece and she was talking about effective communication. And this one came up. It's how you say it. Think about how we use tone, right? And she had all these statements or statements similar to this written out on her board. And she had the faculty, the administration, and the parents and the kids who were sitting in that night all read these out. And you know what? Let me tell you something. They did it with such gusto. It was almost like this cathartic practice. But take a look at the words that are italicized. I also did this recently at the beginning of the year in October. The first Friday in October, I met with some of our Brooklyn staff, and we did this piece, and we did it to the point of saying it's been a month and going through these enunciations. And we all recognized how that emphasis changes a statement. So it's how you say it. So let's take a look. Number 1, I never said she didn't like you. 2, I never said she didn't like you. 3, I never said she didn't like you. 4, I never said she didn't like you. 5, I never said she didn't like you. 6. I never said she didn't like you. And 7. I never said she didn't like you. So many different tones, so many different variables, so many questions maybe at the end of that statement, clarification that perhaps needs, what's the emotion that comes up that you would perceive from the speaker and that you as the receiver of this message will partake. Then you think about how we're communicating nowadays. Emails, text messages, social media, commentary. We lose tone. We lose emphasis sometimes. There's a lot of ways to misconstrue. There's a lot of ways to miscommunicate. How does this affect us as a faculty, as a team, as a group, as a classroom dynamic, as an institution? It's how you say it. Think about even sharing this with the kids in your class. What would come up? So as you go through your day, through your week, and I will be seeing you again next Monday. We have a PD on Friday, all day, and some meetings. But when I see you again on Monday, I hope that you've gone through a full week of clear communication, kind feeling, mindfulness, and cohesiveness. And like I said, watch the self-talk too. It's not just for kids. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.